Alright, well apparently I missed the start button. But we're in the middle of putting a coat of the OD green on here. We wiped her down good with lacquer thinner. This is going to be nice and flat looking apparently. They said nice long flowing strokes. Ain't much to this frame really. I might paint the steering goose tri-clamps and forks a different color. But right now I don't care if I get a little overspray, because then I'll mask off the frame when I do that. This is looking pretty cool, guys and gals. Rattle can paint job. I'm good with that. Rust-Oleum is good stuff, man. The guy that invented Rust-Oleum actually worked on a fishing boat, and he noticed that where they threw the fish on the deck, the steel deck didn't rust. And that's how the whole concept of Rust-Oleum paint and being rust-proof all came from, is fish oil. So there you go, a little trivia for today. I'm sure you were all wondering what the heck that was. Alright. Nice thing about this paint is you can put it pretty much right on target. It's pretty accurate with its spray nozzles. So I've decided I'm going to hit this all. The wife is calling me to go pick up my granddaughter. And I'm going to be done here in just a minute, so she'll be happy. I'll go get my granddaughter from school. Keep peace in little River City here. Huh. There's actually a frame serial number on this, like on the headstock of a regular motorcycle. I'm surprised. But I guess it is a motorcycle in effect. Alright guys, well I got a bolt. Because the boss will be after me here in a minute. Well, we'll let this dry out and I'll be back. Alright, first coat has been drying about half an hour. This Rust-Oleum is pretty finicky about how fast you recoat, so. I got enough here for another coat, at least on the outward surfaces. We'll just do the most prominent surfaces first to make sure we have enough paint. It's covered actually pretty well. I don't see any too many sags and runs or anything. I had a little fisheye in here on the forks, but I think that's because of oils or something, and kind of think it got buried. Oh, I gotta do my steering knuckles for the handlebars there. I can always buy more paint. That's not a big issue anyway. A couple coats is more than enough. This is that 2X, as I said. It's supposed to give you double coverage with one coat. I'm gonna have to get a nice coat of paint on the chain guard and stuff. That's gonna be fun. Not the chain guard, I mean the torque converter cover. That's just a big black ugly Hulk, so we'll cami that up a little bit. Oh no, you missed that, you missed this. Uh-oh. It'll be fine. We're down to the last dregs here. See if I can get this one shot done. Yeah, pretty much. Ouch. Try not to run into this stuff like an idiot. Stanley Stumbleton. Alright, well, as I said, I'm going to paint those wheels. I'm going to save this for just in case. Oh, I know what I do. I need to change. I need to do those steering caps here. So let me wipe him down a little bit. And I'll hit that. I'll let this sit a little longer. I'll start working on some other colors here. But I'm excited to get this done. Don't touch it with your greasy hands, Bob. Oh, we're going to have some fun now on this thing, ain't we? Like not Kevin here, practically. guess I better close the door. I just want to let the fumes from this out quick. We'll catch up with you in a few minutes. Well, the next question is I want to paint up some of the covers on that engine. I've basically got 3 covers. I've got the exhaust, I got the gas tank itself, and I got the pull start cover. And maybe I should do dark brown here and lighter brown on the cover. You know, I've got a seafoam green. I'm going to do some leafing on this probably, and maybe a little on this. So I got to have a base color on it. The problem is the tank's full of gas. I got to get rid of that first. That's my next dilemma. I want to do the chain guard, or the clutch guard. Torque converter guard, some cool colors. And I don't know, I gotta decide on that. I gotta get the gas out of the tank. Alrighty, so here's your typical Predator 212. And as per other people's work, I've seen, I'm gonna disassemble it a little bit, take the fuel tank off, take the muffler heat shield off. I went outside and I got one of those little siphon pumps with the red bulb, you know, that you used to use for the kerosene back in the day. I was able to drain as much out of the tank as I could get, so I just got to get this clip, which is in a precarious spot, of course, off the fuel line. There it goes. I'm hoping. I guess I do have to take the throttle plate off. I just need to be careful because there's a linkage that goes from here to the governor and back. Now I saw people take and just loosen that governor shaft up, and then the governor doesn't work at all. Right now I don't think I'm going to mess with that. Those look like 8mm. Which they are. I got the hose loose, but I can't seem to find my 10mm socket, of course, the one you use the most. Oh boy, that sucker is tight. I probably will put some blue Loctite on these because we don't want it to vibrate out again. Okay, well that just has one spring linkage on it. That's so that the governor can pull it back when it doesn't like what you're doing to it. Where'd that other nut go? There it is. Or that other machine bolt, machine screw, whatever you're going to call it. I might change the oil on this while I get a chance. Alright, so that lies under there. I'm trying to see which bolt really holds that. I see there's 2 on this side. I guess that one just goes through. They all look like 8mm, so, which might be a good thing. Oh no, that's a 10 for sure. I just happen to have my little open-end wrench set out here. So I top them. Yep, they're 10s. The gas tank has a couple of studs on it that go right down through some cast-in bosses here. I guess that's what you would call them. No lock washers, they're just washered nuts. Did I say that right? Somehow that doesn't sound right. Anyway. And they look like they are upset thread. They do have a detent. If you look at them, you'll see a little square dent in one side, where they dent these a little bit to make them fit tight on purpose so they don't vibrate off. You know, gasoline engine gonna vibrate like a paint shaker. Oh, that looks like another little 8mm over here. And I gotta be careful not to break that spark plug. That seems to be the only thing holding this side. I'm going to take the covers off this so I can paint them up. Oh, that's a nice longy one. Longy. Let's see if I can get that off in here. Excuse, it's not chilly here. Cold and damp in this climate of ours here in western New York. Let me find a long screwdriver. There we go. So, I've been feeling like I got a sore throat today. Yeah, that's stuck right on the hose really good. I don't know if I can get a hold of the hose and give it a twist to break it. There we go. See if that broke the bond. Okay, there she goes. Now, probably gases. I do have a rag on the bench. Oh, and I'm not getting a lot. That's good. I'm going to pull that clamp off the end this way so I don't have to try to drag it through all those. I'm sure I'll forget to put it back on. Get that guy out. Alright, tank is off. I'm going to lay that on its side. This is the governor we were talking about. The throttle linkage pulls the governor this way, and you can see the throttle open and close, but when the governor decides it doesn't like what you're doing to it, it will pull this back anyway by itself. There's actually the old-fashioned type of governor internal in this engine with the flyweights, and that's what moves this back and forth, and they are of course calculated to be the correct weight to keep this at 3,600 approximately 3,600 RPM at full throttle. And all this little spring does on the linkage rod is it takes out the slop or vibration that might be in there. It keeps tension on it all the time, so the throttle is just more accurate. But what I was thinking about doing is just loosening up the clamp on this shaft and letting the governor do what it wants while I do what I want. Or suppose you could just take it off. I mean, I don't know what internally you don't want to leave behind. I mean, I have seen them pull off the drive side and go right inside and take everything out. I don't think I need that much engine speed. I need engine power. I need engine power at lower RPMs. So I don't need this thing to scream. So I guess definitely not gonna to mess with it right now. Now there's the washers that protect your fuel tank too, so I definitely don't want to lose those. There's my nuts. I'm going to do something with this kill switch. I'll probably wire it back in. Why not? I mean, one on the engine and one on the oh man, that thing's bad. One on the handlebars isn't a bad thing, is it? Doesn't matter. This one is where the old oil sensor relay was. They say you got to take that out because if you hit bumps and whatever, it'll make your engine stall. So the rest of this is simple. It's just, I'm going to leave that right in that hole. I'm making note that it's in the center hole. My mental note. I'm mental alright. Pop the cover off. So I'm going to paint this too. What I'll do is I'll put these screws right back in the holes. It's always a good way when you're taking something apart that you're not familiar with. It looks like there's only 4 of them on this, 2 on the bottom, and the little breaker bar extension here is perfect. Ratchet, not breaker bar, you know what I mean. Holy cow. That bolt goes in there. So I'm going to screw him right in there. That's actually a really nice gas tank rig. I'm losing a little fuel here, but I'm going to put these rubber grommets back on here too. I got my windows open in here so I won't build up too many fumes, although I do have a furnace. But it's also fuel from outside air. So I shouldn't get any combustion in here, but I'm going to wipe it up. What do you think, guys and gals? Are we on the right track here? I think this is going to be a fun project. It's going to be cool. Going to be looking good in the neighborhood. Okay, I knew this had a plastic flywheel. There's a butt connector right there. That's actually the kill switch. All you got to do is ground that and the engine will stop running. Contrary to common belief, rust on the flywheel magnets don't have nothing to do with anything. So as long as that's not touching the flywheel, you're in like Flynn, baby. In like Flynn. Alright, well, we're down to all the parts off here that we need except for the muffler cover. One of these days I might put a header on this. Am I going to do it right now? No. I want this to be quiet, and I think it might be like a spark arrestor. And seeing that I'm going to be going up through the woods in the fall when the leaves are dry and all that stuff, I might not want to have any sparks flying out of this thing. Come on. I guess I got to take the air cleaner off first. Now this has had this looks like a Pro Power Sports modification. I can't guarantee that because I don't know. But they make a lot of shoot. They make a lot of let's see if I got a hex drive for this. Let's see if I can. We're going to do this little American engineering here. I'm going to hold the bit in the screwdriver hole and try to turn it with the pliers. Dang Phillips. I hate Phillips screws. What I need is a 1/4-inch socket which will fit on this, which then I can turn this sideways. Let me go get with a rig. I got a, let's see, what size socket does this fit? 3/8 with my drill adapter for my drill to hold the bit so that now I can press it against here. And she still don't want to come. I'll put another bit in there and try a different bit. There we go. That's all she took. Try to take as few things apart as I have to. There's a couple breathers missing on this, one for the fuel tank and one that just came off the valve cover. Alright, well, I got this apart. I'm going to clean these parts up and we'll start to paint these too. Well, I made the commitment and I'm hitting the base color on these engine covers, that dark chocolate brown, and she looks like she's laying on there pretty nice. I'm not sure what color I want to start those fenders off as. Actually, if you start off with light, then you can do different stripes on them. That's what you need to do. You need to do them in blocks. But I gotta let these dry so I can get them out of the way. Another thing we talked about was the squealing brakes on this bike. And you know, the brake squeal and the brake drum, because it's just like running your finger on a wine glass. Now, I have already cleaned this with lacquer thinner. So I'm thinking I'm just going to put some of this on here, and it'll act like a dampener. This is a Permatex Ultra Black. It's a super high quality, like silicone. And I'm going to just kind of put it on here arbitrary and push it down in there a little bit. And hopefully this will help reduce that resonance. You know, much like a dampener on a bowstring or such like that. And I'm not trying to smear it out too much, I'm just pressing it down. I want it to bond, because I want a little bit of it proud, so that it actually has some mass to it. I'll put a big blob right there and push it into each side. I know you can't see much about what I'm doing in there, but I'm hoping you get the idea that I just put a ring of that bead around there like so. See? It didn't go ding. It went thud. And a thud is good. Alright, we're going to let that harden up. And this will probably take a day, so then I'll clean it up again and we'll spray paint these. I think I'm going to go brown with the wheels too. Just give us a good basic start. I got to clean my fingers up now. Probably lacquer thinner is going to be my friend for this too. Now the next little project thing I'm up to here for this, they're going to make some stencils. Now these stencils will allow me to mask off certain areas, and they will both work both ways. I can use the negative and the positive sides of these. And they don't have to be perfect. But as you can see, I'm just trying to make some leaves here. So I'm going to have to cut through my stems. I should be using my X-Acto knife for this, but I'm too lazy to go in the house and get it. Alright, you can see what I'm doing anyway. And I can use this over and over again. I can move it around on the bike. I've used real leaves and stuff like this too. The problem with them is they want to blow around with the spray. So if you use a stiffer thing, it will stay held against, because you just hold them up and spray and hold them up and spray and hold them and spray. I'll show you. I'll show you when I get to it. I just sketched one out here so I'd have some sort of idea. I don't even know what kind of leaf this is. It looks a little birchy. What do you think? Does it look a little birchy? Then I kind of make a handle on it here. Let's trace out the back side. Because I don't want to rip these, they'll be a little delicate. Oh, cripe. Gonna have to tape that together or something. That one wants to stay together. See, I make it look easy, but it ain't. Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. be maybe even better if I had like a notebook cover for this instead of regular corrugated cardboard. But see, there you go. I'm just going to put this guy back on with a piece of tape like this. And then when we spray, it will leave behind our little silhouette. And you can do different colors, move it around. I can use this again too, see? I'll cut this guy out. I can hold that up against. And then what I can do is come back with like a little bit of black paint and make some veins on those leaves too. So there's one. I'm gonna go get a better knife though. Alright, we'll see you in a bit. We're putting the stencils on hold for a minute. Jumping around a lot here, but this is what we can get done. I think I'm gonna paint the guard for the torque converter sage green. It calls it oregano. This is the color from Rust-Oleum. This Rust-Oleum was one of the cheaper paints too at Home Depot. Alright. Oh, that's nice too. Woodsy owl. Of course, I wiped this all down with lacquer thinner as I did everything else. Try to get an even coat, but not too thick. This stuff does not want to run. This is nice paint, actually. The 2X Ultra Cover. Home Depot. Maybe I'll do the center of the engine cover with that or something. I got that satin khaki brown too. That and flat black are my only two colors left. These will make nice leaves and branches though too when I get around to doing the big patterns. I'm going to do a big pattern on that. And I'm going to do a big pattern on the fenders, which are still just painted flat black. And then we'll do some leafing and stuff on those. Give it some 3D effect. Some of these smaller pieces, I'm just going to leave one color. All right, back at the fenders. So the trick to doing this 3D camo, let me reiterate, is to think inside out. So what you want to show on the top, as far as leaves and branches, that's the color you want to put down first. Now the technique I've used is to just paint blotches, and then I'll use my masks. Like pine needles would be dark green, leaves would be reddish brown and light brown. We're going to leave some black for just some branches, so you might want a branch coming up, so you leave some black and paint a brown patch, and then you do your leaf stencil. So that's all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to paint some blotches on here. I suppose I could just do this. Okay, you get my drift here. Now we'll come back with well, that one's dusty. What else have we got around here? We got a little dark brown. Maybe see, this is just our base coat, so a lot of this is going to get covered anyway. I think this guy is dead. This is a reddish brown. Yeah, this one's dusted. Maybe it's just plugged. I'll try to change the nozzle later. I need my sage green, so I just did. What the heck? Scream at me, tell me where it is. Oh, there it is. Alright. Let me lay a little sage green on here. See, this overspray you see will be covered. So I'm just going to leave these sort of showing. So I know it don't look like much now. But it will, trust me. Because we'll come in with some darker colors too and do our mask over on these. So there you go. We've got a good start. And gonna let those dry up for a while. And we'll see how that turns out. I'm getting things spray painted up here, folks. I just want to get this done. You know, I'm trying to do multiple tasks in one day. The hard part is I got to try to get in under this sprocket. I really don't want to take the rear sprocket off this wheel. So I'm just going to have to hope for the best when I spray paint this. You're not going to be able to see much in there anyway, even if it does get goofed up looking. So I just want the rim here, especially the rim. Those gear teeth really hurt. The sprocket looks like to be in pretty darn good shape. It has signs of use, but the teeth are all there. I just can't, maybe I can. If I get that down like that, I can get around there, but you can't even see this part of the wheel. I hate to do a crappy job. I can't reach in there any farther. My hand's too big. So I'm hoping there's not a lot of oil in there. There is some debris in there. I guess I'm going to hit this sprocket with some of the paint too. I think I'm going to do what I did on the front tires. I did the front tires, front wheels, I mean. I did them with the sage green. They look pretty good against the black tire. There's nothing I can do about the debris that's down in there. That'll give it a textured look, right? Alright, as you can see, I'm masking this off, and you can curve this tape a little bit. You kind of have to push it back on itself like that and make like a little fold. When it gets too long, it gets to be a pain. You got to break it off, but that'll get it down in the crack of the wheel here. Give me somewhat of a clean line. And now we just block off the rest of it like so. I'm hoping a good enough shot that I don't get that on the rest of the tire. Alright, that's as good as it gets. Press it down a little more. And it's nasty in there, but basically it's just dust and dirt. There's just, I'm not taking it apart. Yep, I can see the other side of the wheel there a little bit. I'm not worried about that bearing, it'll break right free. That's all I'm doing to that side. The other side, I gotta wait for my sealant that I put on there, my anti-squeal, if you will. And I'm gonna wait for that to harden. And then we'll paint that side. We'll do the same thing, mask it off, but we gotta wait for this to dry good. We're starting to, this is my battery's almost dead. Alright, I'm back on the power cord because I'm running out of juice in the battery, but I've already positioned these cutoff switches. The cutoff switch, I need to get this guy out of the way, there we go. The brown paint on the chrome is very soft, so I can see where it could be an issue. But we're just trying to get some of these controls back on. I think when I rewire the engine, I'm going to leave the cutoff switch connected on that too. I think the guy who had it before me had it disconnected. But I don't see any issues with reconnecting it. You know, whatever. You're messing with the engine and it screws up, so you can quickly punch it off with that. I don't see an issue. This one here, run off, run off. I got a new brake lever, I gotta go get that. This brake lever cable. Goes right through there. Get you over here. Oh, there goes that. Well, it didn't break anyway. Give us a little light here, maybe. I just took off the adjustment thumb screw on this. It appears that this should go in there like so. Now, I don't really see anything that retains it other than the tension of the brake barrel. So I'm going to put the barrel nut back on here. So just run through this little loop. This cable up here, just to shoot around there, this is just electric. brake is going to go just like this. Yeah, I'm feeling it. And then we just tie it off to the frame wherever we need to. The throttle will come around to the engine this way. Maybe I'll disconnect those. I don't really like them tied together the way they are right there. We'll massage those a little bit. These guys are tie wrapped together. And I know this guy needs a little bit of latitude for the engine. So you put it up here like this, and then it looped right around to the carburetor like so. So that works. I like that. This guy just goes down around to the engine here somewhere, so he can go down there. Tie him up to the throttle cable, I guess, until I get here, and then send him on his own way. Maybe put the brake cable in with that one. So they'll part ways right here. Someday I might put a headlight on it. There's still a headlight bracket. The original bike had a headlight, but the original bike also had a magneto in the engine to supply power. So this would require a battery, which the engine only comes to here. So you could build a little battery box to mount right there. Would be great. Or you probably could put it right here under the seat out of the way. Of course the fender is in here, so you couldn't put it in there, but maybe right here you could put the battery box. The paint's still a little tender, but she's hardening it up. And she's satin, so she's not going to glisten in too much in the sun. There's a little sheen to it, but not bad. I like it. It's pretty. She's getting pretty. And I do a few leaves on the engine, and I'll put that back together. I can get that on. Get that rear wheel painted. So you know what? I'm going to call this a video for today because it's gotten awful long, and I might have to edit some of it out too. I'm not a very good editor though, and I just use Movie Maker, so it doesn't have good editing anyway. So we'll come back to you. We'll finish up working on this tomorrow maybe, or maybe later tonight, I don't know. I've got to go get my hair cut though at 4:30 with my grandson. That's another plan. Let's see, what time is it now? It says 4:30, so I guess I better go. See you next time. God bless.